Hi, it's Katie from Katie Cooks and Crafts, and today I'm cooking. I'm making sweet and sour braised red cabbage. This is a simple, delicious, and beautiful side dish that my family loves. This is a simple recipe with really basic ingredients, but I have a medium purple or red cabbage, a large onion, a large cooking apple. This is a Fuji apple. You want something that's a little bit firm and tart, something that can hold up to cooking. So you could use a Fuji or like a Granny Smith would work well. I have some apple cider vinegar, and you can use any kind of vinegar that you like. This is what I like. And to balance the vinegar, I'm going to use a little bit of sugar. And an extra optional flavoring that I'm going to add is star anise. These are 2 little pieces of a star anise pod. And I like the flavor, but it's a little bit overwhelming, so I don't even use a whole pod. I just use 2 little pieces that's not even equal 1 pod. Some people use other sort of spice flavorings. You can use caraway seeds, or like fennel seeds will give you a similar anise flavor to the star anise. And then to cook the cabbage, I just have a little bit of vegetable oil, and I'm going to season with salt and pepper. So I'm just going to chop the cabbage, and I took off the outer leaves that were a little bit wilted and washed the cabbage, and I'm just cutting it in half. I'm going to remove the core and then thinly slice it. So cutting it in quarters makes it easy to just remove the core. So now I'm just going to thinly slice the cabbage about 1/4 inch thick. I'm also going to thinly slice the onions. And I'm going to peel, core, and thinly slice the apple. I'm going to cook this in a big stock pot. This does cook down quite a bit, but before it does, you have quite a lot of cabbage and onions and apples, and you want to be able to toss them and fry them in the oil. So I'm using a large pan. I have about 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil heating, and I have the heat set at about medium-high. You want to kind of fry the onions and the cabbage at first, and then we'll turn it down to low to simmer and braise them. So the oil is heating up, and I'm going to add my onions. And I'm also going to add some salt and pepper, and I'm just going to fry these onions for a couple minutes. After about 2 minutes, the onions are starting to turn translucent. I'm going to go ahead and add my cabbage and give it a toss in the oil. You can see how having a large pan makes it a lot easier to toss this and coat all of the cabbage in oil. We're going to let this fry for about 3 to 5 minutes, stirring occasionally. You can see there's a little bit of browning in the bottom of the pan. That's going to give this some really great flavor. So once you have a little bit of browning on the bottom of your pan like that, we're going to add a little bit of water. So I'm adding probably about 1 cup or 1.5 cups of water. And I'm going to stir to remove that brown fond from the bottom of the pan. You don't want to add too much water because a lot of water will come out of the cabbage, and you don't want this to be diluted. So just enough to sort of steam and wilt the cabbage down. If it cooks away too quickly, you can add a little bit more water. I'm going to add the apple. The vinegar. The star anise. And a little bit of sugar. And give that a good toss. After about 30 minutes, the cabbage is right where I want it, but if you want it a little softer, feel free to cook it a little bit longer. I'm going to taste it for seasoning, check the salt level, but I'm also going to check the sweet and sour balance. And I tend to go a little bit more sour than sweet, so I might add a little bit of extra vinegar. But if you want it a little bit sweeter, you can add a little extra sugar. It's completely up to you. And I'm also going to pull out the star anise pod if I can find it. Tonight I'm serving my red cabbage alongside some grilled pork chops and mashed potatoes, but it's also good with roast chicken, sausages, pretty much any kind of grilled meat. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, leave me some comments, and thank you so much for watching.